didn't use to anything. You're cold. That is not an efficient use of my time.
You know what else isn't an efficient use of your time, Ree? Trying to figure out how to undo my suit override. Sounds like you've got a rock and hard place situation. Yikes.
That's some bull. How I get blackmailed twice in 5 minutes?
Karma.
Fine. Just shut up about it. We go first thing in the morning.
Yes! Bonnie and Clyde back on the streets! Come on, best friend! Go, best friend!
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And sorry for the delay, everybody. Things get in the way with scheduling. Life happens. But we are still on target. We are still on track. And yes, Steve and I are back, and we are continuing our talk about Ironheart that's found on Disney Plus. So this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about season 1, episodes 3 and 4 of Ironheart that can be found on Disney Plus. So if you haven't watched the show, which I'm sure a majority of the people has, it's been off for a while.
I was gonna say it's been done for a few weeks. So
yeah, it's been but then again, you get those people that are delayed like me. Sometimes I have to catch up. But if you haven't stopped the podcast, go watch it, come back to us, or if you feel the need to listen to it and see what you're getting into ahead of time, fine, stick with us. For everybody else out there, please don't spoil it. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Nope.
But as we were saying, we're covering season 1, episodes 3 and 4. So, Steve, you want to talk about the 2 episodes and the synopsis?
Sure, let's go. So in season 1, episode 3 is called "We in Danger, Girl." I don't know why I just said that like that. Riri is uncomfortable being part of Parker's crew. 2 more heists, max, and she's out. She promises. And then episode 4 is Bad Magic, which is when Parker suspects Riri of wrongdoing. She knows she has to figure out the source of his powers. These were 2 episodes that were pretty good to go together, I want to say.
Yeah.
But episode 4, and we'll get to it when we talk about it, there is a bit of a cliffhanger there at the end of episode 4. So I haven't gone on. I got spoiled about one little thing that we may or may not mention in this recording. It's not a huge thing, but it's out there. And I'll when we get to it, and I may bring it up or not. Because it's weird because I didn't like being spoiled by this particular thing because I was already expecting something like it, I guess.
Yeah, both of these episodes had a lot of the mystics in there, more surrounding around Parker.
Yeah,
and the hood or the cloak that he has, and we do get a little bit more. The 3rd episode, as we started off, I thought it was more adventurous in what was going on, especially with Riri and what she planned to do because of what she needed to do for herself to get more information. Her going to Joe.
Yeah. I was a little confused about that whole thing too, because it's seeing that Joe is some sort of bionically enhanced individual. And then especially when he gets arrested, there's no even mention of that with the cops. So
well, I mean, they do mention it when the group are together in episode 4.
No,
obviously, if you you listeners, we're doing these back to back, but some of this stuff intertwines, like with what Steve was saying before.
Yeah,
but they do mention it. That they like it's not like it wasn't known.
No, that's what I'm saying is the group knows about. But I'm saying the cops, there's nothing mentioned from the police side of it. Of him being an enhanced individual, or them having to put him in special restraints or anything like that,
or go to the raft.
Or anything. So it was just a little confusing. The second time watching, particularly, I was a little, I don't know, it took me out of it a little bit. The fact that, like, okay, I get that he doesn't care about his dad's ashes. And so He just has them in a bag in the kitchen. But the fact that they're not only labeled with the guy's name, but he took the time to write dad on it. Like that just to me, that was just like they're just like, I don't know. It just took me out a little bit going, really? That's how she's
pushing the
gonna find out?
envelope.
Yeah, they're pushing a little bit
Okay.
that he's okay. He's Obadiah Stane's. We get it. He's Obadiah Stane's son.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. But
well, it's funny that Riri didn't even know that too. And then he starts going into it and she goes, "Oh, what's your Ezekiel? Oh, so you're
Right.
Zeke."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying is like she knows who Obadiah is. She knows about Zeke. And it just that moment, the second time particularly watching it, kind of took me out a little bit going, come on. We don't know about her real dad.
No.
Still,
all we know is that of Nat's father, who she worked with in the garage, and I thought that a little bit more of that coming out about him, and that was her.
Was that Nats or is that no? That's Riri's stepfather. Who gets killed in the garage with
I get
with
confused.
Yeah, it is confusing because again, we don't know who Riri's
real dad
is. So that was a little bit.
Maybe he's Wakandan. Who knows?
Yeah, it was a little interesting at the beginning part when the other person of the crew has the cloak on and Cousin John comes in, and it's like Cousin John is almost more upset about somebody wearing Parker's cloak than Parker is. Parker was just kind of like didn't even care that, like, almost like he didn't care that she was wearing it. But Cousin John really freaked out.
Yeah, we didn't even get to that point of knowing why that is, even with the flashbacks that we get in episode 4, which shows that we have 5 and 6 left, everybody, but obviously they're gonna show a little bit more of their relationship and what happened on that first break-in and theft that they were doing at that mansion. So I think there's more to what was going on there at that mansion and that first theft that
I think we've got to learn some more. Yeah, we've got to learn more about that than what was going on there. We learned a lot more about Parker in this one, or at least we see when he shot the security guard by bending that bullet around Riri. It's not. I don't think he killed that guy, but at the end of it, he kills those guys. Like he straight up killed. He kills the tech guy. He killed the security guards. We're pretty sure Cousin John killed Rampage. So these guys are murderers. There's no
holds barred.
Yeah, he's definitely a bad guy. There's no trying to, no wiggle room there. Riri she's got to admit she's with criminals. She is with criminals now, as she admits later on in the episode. But yeah, so it's interesting. The more and more we're learning about these guys, and even though we're not going to see him anymore, I did want to bring up that we were both trying to figure out where we saw Cousin John from, and I don't know I had to finally look him up on IMDb because I was like, who is this guy? And I just realized he's the Latino actor from Good Girls. He was the gangster kind of guy in Good Girls, but he was also in a little known TV show that probably you and I are probably the only ones on this planet that actually watched, called Graceland. That was about a bunch of undercover operatives from different agencies all living together in the same house. He was in that show as well. And I have to believe you know that show and that you watched it back in the day.
I watched some of it. Yeah, I do remember it. So
it had Daniel Sanjata in it before he became big. There's a lot of, it was a good show. I remember, but yeah, that's where he was from when I finally had to look him up.
Yeah, a lot of other things happen within this particular episode 3 that I did like too about Xavier. You could see he's like the voice of reason and encouragement to Riri, but you know, he could smell a lot like a fart in a car when she's trying to Like she just shows up with new headphones. But then he goes and he knows that she's up to no good with the suit and something's going on. Where are you getting all this money before you didn't have any? You making fun of my headphones, but my headphones they have weathering. They are something that I bought.
They were Natalie's headphones. Yeah,
they had
she gave
meaning
him
to me.
Yeah. And I think that's, she should have realized how he would react there at the end of this episode or the next episode. I guess it's the end of the next episode, actually, when he meets the AI Natalie and just kind of freaks out about it. So yeah, we're seeing Xavier is starting to figure things out. I had some questions that I had to watch it. When I watched it the second time, I think I actually ended up watching this episode like 3 times to really totally understand what was going on and what happened. And that Riri was supposed to just stay in the suit and not go into the facility.
Yes.
Right.
She was supposed to hover around just in case.
Right. Just to be backup in case she was needed. And what she does is she ends up sneaking into the facility. She uses Joe's, fake skin to hide the laser cutter, which all that I had to put my suspenders of disbelief on for some things, because first off, how does she know for sure that laser cutter was going to work to cut the cloak? How did Parker not realize somebody was slicing up his cloak while he was sitting there talking, just having a conversation?
Or smell it burning.
Or smell it or anything. And then finally, when she does, when it finally breaks ends up getting spotted by the sensors, it ends up being the cause of everything going wrong.
The laser is what is spotted by the sensor.
Right. That's what I'm saying is she bringing that in and doing that thing is what gets it caught. Her dropping the laser. And then, of course, Parker finds the laser, and that's what's going to lead him to figuring out that Riri did something outside of, and that's in the next episode. But it just a lot of this stuff happened because she wanted to get a piece of this cloak, and I'm just, it just seemed like it was a big deal to get. And of course, it's gonna, in the next episode we'll talk some more about what she finds out about the cloak. But it just seemed like a lot of trouble ended up being caused by this one little mistake, and ends up getting a bunch of people killed. And Riri's doesn't really see herself as the cause of that,
No, there's a little bit of separation from what her pursuit of the truth about Parker and what's going on, and ignoring and putting everybody else in jeopardy at the same time by her actions. I agree. Yeah, that to me, it's like she's not really, she's got tunnel vision. She is only thinking about one thing, which is to do the jobs and get the money for the suit, and not really caring for the others. What she also doesn't,
kind of an ends justifying the means kind of thing.
Yeah, she also doesn't realize, or she does have an epiphany about Nat, the AI, where Nat is pretty much advancing a little bit more as a person.
Yeah, this was what plays into what I got spoiled about, is that Natalie, the AI Natalie, is acting more and more, and we're going to see this even more in the next episode, is acting more and more like a real person and not just an AI kind of thing. And so that's where, like I said, I kind of got spoiled on a cast reveal that's later in the next couple of episodes, that it kind of bummed me out, but it also confirmed that Natalie, the AI Natalie, is more than just an AI Natalie. There's more going on there. So
yep. And we do get some realizations even in episode 4, but sticking to 3 right now. That to me was more of an interesting factor with her. She's advancing. She's got more personality, acting more, got the memories. She's piecing things together. Now she can be brought anywhere. She has access to the suit and controlling the suit.
Yeah. Well, that and Natalie is becoming more and more protective of Riri herself
Yes.
also, in this, to where letting other people basically die, or trying to let other people die so that she can save Riri. So we're seeing more and more of this kind of advancing. I did like, we really briefly touched on Joe, but I did like that Joe is getting confidence, is gaining some confidence in
Yes.
himself when he comes to Riri's apartment, and basically blackmails her into helping him do what he wants to do, and so, or help him out. And she's like, well, how do I get blackmailed twice in 5 minutes? And he says karma. So I thought was great seeing Joe, and I hope this isn't the last we see of him going to prison. Well, I guess it's not, because we're going to see him in episode 4, where we actually, there is more from him that's going
Yes,
to be in
there is
episode 4.
more in episode 4, a lot more of kind of like a
Yeah,
turnaround from him from where he was with Riri before on
yeah,
episode 3, where now he's in prison. This is your fault why I'm here. I can't
hmm
trust you. And he has that whole feeling of like, well, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get out of here,
hmm
and I'm gonna get these guys to help me in here. Now, mind
yeah.
you, is he really like one of those guys that could actually talk to these prisoners, or does he feel confident that his lack of pain due his bionics will
Yeah,
allow
and
him
we
to?
don't really find out too much, because in the next episode he ends up getting out anyway. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was I just seeing his development as a character is going to be interesting to see how where he ends up at the end of the series is what's going to be interesting to me. Is he going to be a good guy, a bad guy? Is he going to be somewhere in between?
Mm,
Because Obadiah Stane was a bad guy, obviously, but they didn't make that public to the world. As he tells Riri, he says, "Yeah, Obadiah Stane was my dad," and she's like, "Well, didn't he die in a plane crash?" He goes, "Well, no, he tried to kill Tony
Tony
Stark."
Stark. Yeah.
And that's how he got killed. And so, okay, so now suddenly we get more of that story, or at least Riri's getting the full story on that. So,
Yeah, and we're getting a little bit more backstory of Joe, who he
mhm,
is, his relationship with his father, what he knows, why he went into the technology form.
mhm.
Um, we didn't really get the full fact of why he has bionics. Obviously,
Yeah,
still
we don't know that yet. So,
that might be something that might have been a genetic dysfunction of his,
yeah.
that and he might not be quote unquote enhanced. He might just have bionics in him, and in the sense of his daily getting around and whatnot. And
Mhm.
I think that's probably what it was. But uh I there were some really key points within the episode that I did appreciate. The stuff with Parker, him exposing himself, and the dynamics between him and John and how they
Mhm.
react. Then you have what I would say with Nat, and like we said, her her AI, and then her being more enhanced, or development,
Mhm.
and just becoming more aware and becoming more of a person. I just love what she has to say. It's like, I'm not your. I have it written down here somewhere. It was so
Mm.
funny how it's like the way she brought it up, and I was like, oh, it's because I'm not your high tech genie, is what she was trying to
Right.
say to her. That's what I have written in my notes, and I
Yeah.
thought it was funny. But the fact also, you see within one episode, we already see it with Joe and Riri and their relationship and where they're going. He sees it as somebody he could work with, be confident, and at one point trusting within her.
Mhm.
And it kind of jumps differently after the heist at
Yeah,
the
after he gets
heirloom.
arrested, and then the next episode, it's really, he's going to turn on her basically, and go to working with Parker. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
that's
yeah, and then they had some interesting things that happened within the episode itself. Skrillex playing. And as Nat is directed by Riri to help the others, to get out during that time, just like that anticipation, that techno dance style music that's out there, and just try to get everybody out at a greenhouse. And then as Riri leaves John in the greenhouse, suffocating, also with her laser and Joe's biomesh being left there as well. Sean Lee versus Michelle's Kiss the Sky is playing, and it fades into the next scene where that's when they're all recounting and recapping at what would it be, a diner or a restaurant?
Yeah, it's been a little bit since I watched this episode. So yeah, that typical kind of tropey thing after the heist kind of get together is
they're just not eating shawarma.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I had for recounting it. But
yeah, the only other thing I had was really was that vision at the end there. It was a shock for John to die. I did not expect that to happen. It was totally unexpected. And then that fact that at the end, Parker is having this kind of vision of him and is talking to someone. And again, we're going to get more revealed when we get to episode 4.
Correct.
And we'll talk some more about that. I had one quote left from episode 3 that I thought was pretty funny, was when Joe comes to the apartment, Riri's grandma or mom, whoever it is, says, "Why is there a sweaty middle-aged white man at my door?"
Yep.
And he says something like, "I'm 30" or something like that.
I'm 30 years old.
Yeah. I thought that was great. And just the fact that the police are suspecting Riri, and she has to she's pretty quick on her feet to make up that story about, well, I met him at an interview and we didn't really work together. I called him about something and he never called me back. So
yeah, but I just love the woman in passing behind Joe, and his mother says that, and the woman's looking at Joe. What are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly. So.
But the one quote, I have a couple of quotes. Riri to Parker regarding the new job and how everyone is getting along, and she goes, "Are we Ocean's 11 or The Sopranos?" Which is pretty much what it's like. They're all arguing within one another's, but they're all doing these heists. Yeah. I have one from Joe and Riri talking to him about her life, whatever, in the kitchen while she's playing with his bionics with the tweezers and everything. His arm is wide open everywhere.
Yeah.
Joe saying, because she was talking about her stepdad, and he's like, "Oh, at least you had a Gary. I had an ironmonger."
Right.
So he kind of pointed it out there. That's like, yep, my dad was
was a bad guy. Yeah.
But
all right, so that brings us to episode 4. So this episode, a lot got revealed in this episode. We'd already started talking a little bit about that flashback at the beginning with Parker and John doing that home invasion there. When I watched it the second time, I realized that John said it was a hit. So they were going there to kill someone, was what they was, if I understand correctly, what he was doing. And then Parker was trying to steal something from the safe. So again, I think we're going to get more of that heist here in the next couple episodes. Hopefully that they explain to us exactly what happened in that house. But I did specifically I did specifically hear John said it was a hit. So they were going in there to kill someone, I think. So
I think so too. But Parker was also there to get something out of the safe, and that was his prerogative to do that. Yeah. So and you could see the look of worry on Parker's face, so you knew this was set up by John. So that's why it made me feel like this is the first real thing that they done together, and he doesn't have the cloak.
So this is before he gets the cloak. So
this makes me feel like this is where he gets the cloak.
I think so. Yeah.
So I just love when everybody was remembering John at the diner. That to me was funny. That goes into this particular episode. But
Yeah.
you could see how uncomfortable Riri was, and Parker just looking at her constantly because
Yeah.
he still got it in his head, because whatever that mystic being that he was talking to and asking why did this
Right.
happen at the end of last episode, he
Mm-hmm.
gets John's face and the images of him in pain and dying, and then who would do this, and then that image or the shadow of Riri's
Of some,
iron
yeah.
suit. So
Yeah,
uh,
so it's going to be interesting to see what that all plays out for. Again, that goes back to that, Parker, when he finds, like you talked about, he finds the bioskin and the laser cutter there when he before he left, and when we sees John's body, he's found that stuff. And he figures out, he puts it together what Riri did, that she must have uh you know brought that stuff in there, outsourced her job, and like when he lays it out for her, he's like, well, I wish you had come to me to tell me that you were going to go to outsource somebody to somebody else. And she gets all worried thinking that she's going to get killed, but he's like, it's okay, just next time, run it by me. But then he goes behind her back
yeah.
to get Zeke, because he figures out that's where the tech came from, that it was Zeke. So
And it gets him in trouble, and apparently everybody on his block knows who he is.
Yeah.
When he got
Now they do. Yeah. After his arrest, yeah, everybody knows who he was, but of course, by the end of the episode, we have him getting out of the prison. John obviously getting him out of the not John Parker getting him out of the prison, and he does that, where he shaves his head and gets into that machine and does something as far as upgrade. That we find out that all these pieces that they've been getting, that they've been stealing, some of these stuff that they've been stealing is to assemble this machine that's going to do something to Joe. We don't know yet exactly what, but I'm sure that's going to come up here in the next couple episodes.
Make him into a Iron Giant. I don't know. Who knows? I just love the scene with Riri researching the hood piece that she got. And then her and Nat were there, and she puts it in the glass and it slams it on the table, and then it goes invisible, and she goes, no, he's here. And it stays for a while, and then it comes back. So it must be motion or something that caused it to do it. It wasn't Parker showing up with the hood.
Yeah. She tries to destroy it. She can't figure out how to destroy it.
It has more power than anything she's seen, Wakandan, Kree, Stark, or Pym. Were her words.
Yeah, and then when they go to that donut shop, and she finds out that not only is it magical, but it's some sort of evil magic, and it's not just evil magic. It's let me see, I wrote it down. It's an entity that influences people, doesn't possess them, but it influences people. So I thought that was an interesting take on it, from that mom and daughter kind of witch kind of thing, where they talked about Karmatage in Nepal. They mentioned that the mother was there studying magic, and then left when she got pregnant, obviously, and came home to raise her daughter there back in Chicago. So yeah, it's cool to see all these other things from the other movies and from the rest of the MCU coming into play here, talking about Doctor Strange and talking about Karmatage, and parallel planes of existence. And all that kind of stuff. So.
And then Nat telling Riri to go get some help from Shuri.
That was funny. I have that quote down here. Hold on. I have that quote down because I thought it was hilarious. Natalie says, call Shuri. Maybe she can help. And Riri goes, hello? Yeah, Shuri? What? Oh, what have I been up to since causing an interspecies war on both land and sea? Well, I got kicked out of MIT. I joined a crew of ragged ass criminals, and now I'm about to get my ass popped by a deranged man in a cape. Can you help us? Hello? She hung up. It's just like I thought that was great. And again, we're seeing more and more of Natalie becoming a person, having a personality, wanting to meet her brother. She wanted to meet Xavier. Acting, that whole dance party thing that she was doing, where she says she's shaking off her anxiety. I'm kind of like, this is not this is more than a computer generated program. There's something more here going on, and obviously we don't know what it is yet. But
my thought was if something mystical was happening in a good way with Nat, it had to do with her mom.
Yeah.
Because there was a point in one of the conversations when she walks in the door, the mother walks in, and she's looking where Riri's looking, meaning that she's looking at Nat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking, huh?
Yeah. Well, she can see her. Everybody can see her. They all see the projection, the Natalie projection. AI. So, but no, I think there's definitely something more going on there. The mom obviously has more. You know, she talks about when she brings him to the donut shop. She says, "Oh, you want magic? You know, I got the plug or whatever." She says, and Riri says, "Don't say plug." You know, yeah. So we found out. I don't know what's going on with this cloak. I'm glad we're finally getting though, because the series when we originally read about this series or had it teased to us in the last several months and year before, it always said they were going to bring magic and science together.
Yes.
You know, and we didn't see that the first few episodes, and we're finally starting to see that to where they're bringing the magical, the mystical side into it. So it's going to be interesting to see how far that goes.
Yeah, very different from WandaVision, which had magic and and mechanical stuff in it too. If you think about it.
Yeah.
But there was so many. I love how Riri at a certain point has to feel safe and has to sleep in the suit.
Yes. Yeah. That was funny that her mom is watching the X-Files when the pole protection thing activates and Riri like busts the door down in her suit because she heard the shooting from it was an X-Files episode that her mom was watching. So I was like, the X-Files. So.
Oh man.
I forgot to mention that the title of the episode, the episodes has been said. The last 2 episodes has been said by somebody in the episode. The We in Danger Girl was said, I think, by Natalie, and then this one I don't remember if this one somebody said the title of the episode or not. The bad magic. I don't think bad magic was said by anybody, but just one of those things that I've started to pick up on that more and more when shows use the title of the episode within the dialogue. So. But it happened in the first 2 episodes, and then we haven't seen it, like I said, in this one. So,
I'm just going through my notes right now to see.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing to see if there's anything that the only other thing I've got is again, it just goes more to Natalie being more than just an AI, that she, instead of busting down Joe's door, Natalie's the one that suggests looking under the mat for a key. And of course there's a key underneath the mat there. Oh, and Xavier, tripping out when he meets Natalie and definitely doesn't want anything to do with that, looks at it as being disrespectful to her. So.
Yeah, because she's not really alive. And then this, of course, the AI feels like it is alive anyway, because it's every personality trait of Nat and just doesn't have the physical structure to it.
Yeah, again, which plays onto my theory of maybe it's a ghost. Maybe a ghost has taken over the AI. Like that's why she got so hurt when Xavier didn't want to know her.
That's what my thought was based upon the mother. I thought the mother had done something to her, like did something because she worked, like you said, she was a sorceress in some way. And was it her and her friend or her and her sister or something went there?
The donut shop. We don't know the relationship. It's just another person. We don't know the relationship with the donut shop.
Okay, so they both were there, and then for all we know, because the way Riri was acting after she left MIT and she was scrounging around looking for jobs, maybe she just felt she needed some companionship or something to help her. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see going forward. Like I said, I don't want to say anything because I've been spoiled on. I got spoiled on something that is going to be in the future episodes. So
Yep.
the only other thing I had for this episode was, and I kind of briefly mentioned it when we started talking about episode 3, is that this one does end on kind of a cliffhanger with Parker sending the crew out to kill. I mean, he's gone full bad guy, whether we like it or not. Parker has gone full evil, full bad guy. He sends the crew out to kill Riri. He doesn't just want to kill her. He says, "Bring her back my head," or "Bring her head back," you know. And yeah, take her head. So I'll be watching the next 2 episodes tonight.
Yeah, right.
Try to finish this up. But
yeah, well, yeah, we got more than enough time before we have to do any other shows that are coming out.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's what's pretty cool, because yeah, these are the things that we'll let you know now. As you all know, and I remembered it. My buddy was telling me it was coming out this week, and I'm like, no, it's not. Peacemaker is making its way back again, everybody, at the end of August. So it's right around my birthday.
So.
Yeah, right around my birthday. So August 21st is the premiere for Peacemaker on
couple days after my birthday.
Yeah, so, HBO Max. So we have that to look forward to cover. So we definitely will be jumping onto that when it does, and probably at least try to do at least one episode per podcast, so that way we can cover it in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, because I'm sure Max will do what Max does, and they'll release it one episode a week. I don't think they'll drop multiple. The most they might do is 2. Yeah, but I don't know. Max has not typically been their their brand to drop multiple episodes. So we'll have to see when that comes out, because that'll listeners, I'm going to be having some surgery here in the next couple of weeks. So I'll be recovering from that, seeing how much I can actually do as far as podcasting.
But it's a little bit of ways, which is fine.
Yeah.
And after that, we will be going into Gen V season 2. Everybody, I believe The Boys is supposed to be coming out at some point as well.
At some point after that, yeah. And I think they've already said this is the final season of The Boys. Has that been announced? Eric Kripke has said, and we're supposed to be getting, supposedly, if all the press is correct, and not to spoil anything, if all the press is correct, we're supposed to be getting Jared Padalecki, Misha Collins, Jensen Ackles, of course, as Soldier Boy, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Carl Urban's hallucination. I don't know if they'll all be on screen together at the same time. That would be cool to see all those guys again, all the supernatural crew. If they can get Jim Beaver in there also, because he was on Supernatural too. He's Robert Singer there in The Boys. So they can get him involved. We'll see what's going on. But excited for. There's a lot of stuff coming up in the coming months. That we've got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, and for anybody that's out there still goes to San Diego Comic-Con, please let us know what you thought about it when you were out there. There's a lot of things. They had a lot of promotion, apparently. Think for the new Tron film, they have a thing from Nine Inch Nails vinyl that they had that was limited edition to it. A lot of premieres, a lot of trailers for stuff to be coming out. A lot of stuff dropped. News about Godzilla -2 was actually brought up, apparently, from friends.
How does that work? -2? Would it be part 2? Because -2 would be.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't watched -1 yet, so I don't know what the -1 means.
And it took literally almost 10 years, but we're going to get a sequel to Shin Godzilla, and apparently that's been greenlit. So there's a lot of stuff. But this is my little love for Godzilla. But there's a comic out there that you guys would want to look at, and it's Godzilla versus, I believe, the Marvel Universe, which is pretty cool. There's several different versions of this, but the covers on them are amazing. But as you all know, Godzilla was a Marvel product at one point as well. They did the comics. Here they had a cartoon back in the day. I think Hanna-Barbera or somebody did it. But yeah, I would check that out because it's got all the Avengers and everybody going against Godzilla, and they had some weird stuff. The covers had him with the Venom symbiote on it, like him in an Iron Man suit. It's like it's pretty cool. I'm waiting for everything to come out on trade so I can read it all one shot. I met the artist and writer of the books themselves at a con years ago. So it was on my radar. I just never got to it, but something to give you guys a recommendation to before we go into our recommendation of podcasts.
Yeah.
And what would you recommend, Steve? Obviously we have the typical stuff that we always do for everybody.
Yeah,
else.
the typical. It just dropped today. I was guested on an episode of Still Slaying, a Buffyverse podcast from Podcastica. That podcast dropped today, so you should be able to hear my voice on a Still Slaying podcast. Check that out if you're a Buffy fan. If you're just doing the rewatch or not doing the rewatch, give it a listen. Also, Mark and I both, Mark has already been on What's On Tonight with Becky covering Dexter Resurrection. Not Dexter original. Gosh, you guys, that was just the hardest thing for me to go through last week.
I know, we heard.
But I'll be on with Mark and Becky here very soon on an episode of What's On Tonight covering Dexter Resurrection.
Yeah. And
so I recommend those. As always, we recommend TV Podcast Industries. They're a good friend of our podcast. Friend of anything from Podcastica is always great. The TV Podcast Industries guys covered Ironheart. They are covering just about everything that we cover and more. They cover over there on TV Podcast Industries. So give them a shout as well.
Exactly. And for all the other Podcastica stuff, you can go to podcastica.com, check them out. Our friend Ben Beck, who does Wilhelm, check him out as well. He's starting to slowly come back and put a little bit more stuff out there as well. So check out Wilhelm. And the only thing I would probably recommend specifically on Podcastica would be Run for Your Lives. Because I saw Daphne and Paige doing a bunch of movies that I'm really interested in listening to hear them talk about, because they're getting out there with a lot more content.
Yeah.
But, other than that, where can listeners hear you?
Well, obviously, you can hear me right here, and I've already said I was on Still Slaying, and you can hear my voice on various voicemails that I send to other podcasts that we cover. So check me out there, and of course, always here on Panels to Pixels podcast, talking about everything comic book related and Panels to Pixels. Yeah.
Yes, as always, you can hear me here on Panels to Pixels podcast as well with Steve, as well as Jamie, which obviously you guys are going to be getting more. I'm sorry, there has also been a delay with my Jamie and myself with Sandman Cast, which is also on Podcastica, but also here on Panels to Pixels podcast. So it's collaborative now. We plan on coming back, giving you those 2 episodes at a time as they come out. They've been out for a while, for the first quarter, I believe, but we're going to look to finish up at least 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, just like we're doing with this, with her and I, as well as Invincible. So check that out. Look forward to our discussion when we actually get around to it. Fantastic Four, it's still out in the theaters. Go see it. Check it out. I recommend people checking it out. I have difference of opinion about it, but we'll get to that when we get to the podcast. As well as our coverage on our thoughts of Superman. But we might do a collaborative podcast, like a bunch of us all together, kind of like in a round table, talking about Man of Steel, the original Superman with Christopher Reeves, or Superman Returns, in comparison to this Superman with James Gunn's version. So we might do that sometime soon. So just check out all the media that we do, which you can do, which I'll talk about in a moment. But you could also hear me on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. We're coming back again. Sorry, it's been a delay with certain things, but we are coming back. Jamie and I are most likely in the near future be doing the next Friday the 13th movie that we had on our list. Steve and I will probably do another movie. I think we were talking about Lethal Weapon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Lethal Weapon 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll probably get to that eventually. Then of all things, Lara had contacted me, and I was at work at the time. I couldn't really talk too much, but she wanted to talk and finish up the Mayfair Witches before the Talamasca show comes out and get into that. And obviously with San Diego Comic-Con, you guys got to see the trailer or tease that we got from Interview with the Vampire, which is now being called The Vampire Lestat. So we'll be covering that there on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. And then you could also hear me on the Pyrocore Music Podcast. And I have some things in the works that I'm trying to do. It's just, like I said, it's all scheduling. So we'll get there eventually. But for you guys to send any feedback our way, all you have to do is, go to our Facebook group. Just go to facebook.com/panels to pixels. What's on Facebook is on Instagram. So you can find us at Panels to Pixels Podcast on Instagram. So we post the image up of what we're covering. We've done this before. Just leave your thoughts in the comments below. You could email us at panels2pixels1@gmail.com. Panels spelled out normally to the number 2 pixels.
Nope. Not the number 2.
Oh, it's not the number 2. You're right. So it's panels 2. Yeah, it's panels 2 pixels. So it's panels TO pixels and the number 1 at gmail.com. I should get that right. We've been doing this for 8 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We can be found on YouTube as well. All you have to do is search for Panels to Pixels Podcast. Subscribe, ring the bell to be notified. Whatever is on the podcast is there as well. Some people prefer to use that as a means of listening, whether it be their Apple TV, their Roku, whatnot in their house. It's great. Give us a thumbs up. You can actually leave comments on there, and that's how I've gotten some comments before. Then we could be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast player of choice that you use. Obviously, there are reviews for Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we do get comments and thoughts too as well on Spotify. If you can give us like a rating or review, be greatly appreciated. But that's about it. So for this particular episode of the podcast, next week we'll be covering episodes 5 and 6 of Ironheart. So
yeah, wrapping up the series.
Wrapping that up, and then we'll get back to you with more stuff that we'll do. So with that, I just want to thank everybody for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This was Panels to Pixels Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next panel. Bye-bye.
Good night.